Hello, hello. Yeah, I think now it's audible. Can you please confirm that audio is fine and the video is fine? Yes, could you please confirm? Hello, Manish. Hello, Nishka. Yes, thank you. So, what I was saying, first of all, welcome to this session and good evening, everyone. So, in this session, we are going to discuss the finance current affairs, right? And finance current affairs are generally being taken on, say, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 4 p.m., right? So, let's begin. So, generally, what do I do in this finance current affairs? I used to take important news which are going to be, they can be asked in your regulatory examination, right? So, that is the whole and sole purpose of discussing these newses in detail, right? Today in this session, we have four newses with us. These all are very simple, very easy to understand. Okay, we will discuss them one by one. Okay, and then at last we have some questions to be discussed. Okay, so let's discuss each and every news one by one. Okay, so the first news is very simple. The RBI gets the Initiative of the Year award from for बैंक डॉट इन डोमेन. ठीक है, तो जो सेंट्रल बैंकिंग है लंदन में, दे हैव अवॉर्डेड आरबीआई विद द इनिशिएटिव ऑफ द ईयर फॉर लॉन्चिंग दिस बैंक डॉट इन डोमेन. तो हुआ क्या था, आरबीआई ने बैंक डॉट इन डोमेन लॉन्च किया था. बैंक डॉट इन डोमेन लॉन्च किया था किस लिए, ताकि हमारा जो बैंकिंग सिस्टम है इट इज साइबर सिक्योर. ठीक है, साइबर सिक्योरिटी रहे एंड रिस्क सबसे कम हो, बिकॉज दे वर वेरी फेक डोमेन्स दैट वर, वी कैन से, बहुत सारी ऐसी वेबसाइट्स थी जो बैंक जैसी दिखती थी, बैंक के वेबसाइट्स जैसी दिखती थी, जैसे एचडीएफसी हैं तो उसी की ही एक दो चार हमें वेबसाइट मिल जाती थी एंड ऑल ऑफ देम लुक अथेंटिक एंड दैट वाज क्रिएटिंग अ डुप्लीकेशन ऑफ website. Along with that were also confusing among the customers as well. जो हमारे customers हैं उनको भी बहुत ज्यादा confusion हो रही थी that why there are so many websites and they end up making their transaction through a say mule website or bad website, fake website. So that is what they are going to, that was the reason that why they launched .bank.in domain. और हम कह सकते हैं सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ लंदन ने क्या किया है, अवार्ड किया है आरबीआई को फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर लॉन्च, राइट? सो इंडिया इज द फर्स्ट कंट्री to mandate a dedicated and exclusive internet domain for the banking system. So every bank who is being licensed by the RBI are required to have their domain as .bank.in. That means at the end of their website, instead of .com or .in, there would be a bank.in domain. That will help customer in recognizing that yes, this is a recognized and verified website of the bank. Okay, this was the whole and sole purpose. तो आरबीआई को इसके लिए क्या मिला है, अवार्ड मिला है. बैंक डॉट इन के बारे में थोड़ा सा पढ़ लेते हैं. सो दिस इज टू एनहांस द साइबर सिक्योरिटी इन द डिजिटल बैंकिंग सिस्टम. This is going to reduce the phishing and the digital payment frauds that were happening through the fake websites of the banking system. And this is going to increase the customer trust and the confidence over the Indian banking system. क्योंकि जितना ज़्यादा secure होगा, the more easy it is for the consumer to verify the websites of the bank. It is going to build a lot of trust and confidence among the consumer as well, that yes, this particular website is verified enough. I need to check these particular thing whenever I'm entering into any kind of website. This also strengthens the overall financial stability. Obviously, this is a, we can say, big blow. This is just a big blow towards all the hackers, toward all the cyber attackers who were creating these fake websites, right? So this bank.in was a very major initiative that was launched by RBI. ठीक है, तो ये जो bank.in domain है, who manage it? So if you can see this particular diagram, so this is managed by, first it was released by the RBI and it is managed by the Institute of Development and Research Banking Technology. तो बेसिकली ये एक डेडिकेटेड रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट है दैट टेक केयर्स ऑफ दिस बैंक डॉट इन डोमेन. ठीक है, वो इस डोमेन को देखता है, मैनेज करता है कि एवरीथिंग इज रनिंग फाइन. ठीक है, एंड देन उसके बाद दिस पर्टिकुलर डोमेन हम कह सकते हैं इज बीइंग गवर्न्ड बाय निक्सी, दैट इज नेशनल इंटरनेट एक्सचेंज ऑफ इंडिया. देखिए, नेशनल इंटरनेट एक्सचेंज ऑफ इंडिया इज अ नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. ठीक है, दिस इज रजिस्टर्ड under Section 8 of Companies Act. ठीक है, तो ये करती क्या है बेसिकली, दिस लुक्स आफ्टर, दिस मैनेजेस ऑल द आईपी एड्रेसेस, दिस मैनेजेस ऑल द इंटरनेट कनेक्शन एंड ऑल द domains that are currently operating in India across nation, right? So this is what they look after this, and because this is a new domain, so Nixie also manages this particular domain as well, which is particularly exclusively for the banking system, and again this is being managed by the IDRBT, and this Nixie is under the supervision of MIT, that is Ministry of Electronics and IT. So you will remember that this particular domain is under the governance of MIT with Nixie, and it is being managed by the IDRBT, and this was launched by the RBI. And this particular domain is exclusively for the banking system, right? Let's just move ahead. Okay. तो ये जो मैंने आपको यहाँ पर पिक्चर डाली है, this is for your summary. If you are not able to remember everything, so you have this one picture wherein you can read all the information regarding the news. You can read it here. Let's just move ahead now. Second news. It says NIPL expands the UPI merchant acceptance in the Sri Lanka. NIPL is a international arm of NPCI, that is National Payment Corporation of India, right? The international arm of this NPCI is NPCI International Payment Limited. This is responsible for managing the payments which are, or we can say managing the international कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ऑफ यूपीआई, ठीक है? तो जो हमारे जो इंटरनेशनल हम कह सकते हैं NIPL है, दे हैव एक्सेप्टेड और वी कैन से दे हैव signed an agreement wherein they are going to accept the UPI payments of Sri Lanka as well. Okay, so the UPI is already being linked with various other foreign countries as well and their respective UPI. Like we can accept the payment of Dubai through the UPI payments, right? And for the Singapore, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, France, Mauritius, Qatar, हम इन सब की या फिर 8 से ज्यादा हमारे पास अब ऐसे UPI हैं जिनके साथ हमारे कनेक्टेड है हमारा डोमेस्टिक UPI. That means we can accept the payments and we can transfer the payments to them very easily in an instant way, right? So that is going to we can say strengthen the ties between the two nations as well, right? Sri Lanka and India. And why there is a one another connection, that India tourists used to travel in Sri Lanka a lot, right? If you can see the data, there is a data too. Okay. In the previous year, that is to 2024, there were 4,16,000 Indian tourists who traveled Sri Lanka, right? And now this number have been increased to say 5,31,000. So because there is a lot of, we can say, transaction that is going between them, and now there is लेस यूज ऑफ कैश. अब कैश का कम जरूरत पड़ेगी और कैश मैनेजमेंट को जो पहले प्रॉब्लम होती थी दैट विल बी लेस बिकॉज नाउ दे विल बी एक्सेप्टिंग द यूपीआई विच इज बिंग दे कैन यूज द यूपीआई रिस्पेक्टिवली एज पर देयर फेवरेट एप्लीकेशन. यूपीआई एप्लीकेशन आप पेटीएम से करना चाहते हैं, गूगल पे से करना चाहते हैं, डजेंट मैटर, यू कैन यूज द यूपीआई in Sri Lanka as well. So you will be able to scan the QR codes of Sri Lankan and their respective merchants as well. तो यहाँ पर श्रीलंका का जो यूपीआई है दैट इज लंका क्यूआर कोड्स, वी आर कॉलिंग इट एज लंका क्यूआर कोड्स या फिर लंका यूपीआई भी बोल सकते हैं. So what will be the benefit? Benefit will be that you will be getting the money on a real time basis. आपको real time basis पे क्या मिल जाएंगे? पैसे मिल जाएंगे. That is going to be helpful for the Sri Lankans as well and for the Indians as well. And also any exchange rates that is happening is going to be transparent for the regulator as well and for the third party application as well. So that is going to increase the transparency. इनकी recording अच्छे से होगी. That will reduce a lot of paperwork and also everything will be we can say genuine as well. Currently on a monthly basis on a domestically we are settling 20 billion plus transaction on a monthly basis. And how many QR do we have in our India? 700 million plus QR is being, we can say, are available in India across various vendors, merchants, and individuals as well, right? Okay, let's just move to the third news. तो पहली दो न्यूज़ेस बहुत ही आसान थी। अभी इतनी ज़्यादा न्यूज़ेस हम कह सकते हैं इतनी सीरियस न्यूज़ेस नहीं आ रही हैं जहाँ पर आरबीआई ने बहुत बड़ी-बड़ी रेगुलेशन निकाल दी है। तो इट इज़ ईज़ी फॉर यू आल्सो टू रिमेंबर एंड दीज़ आर वेरी सिंपल न्यूज़। ऐसी सिंपल न्यूज़ेस आती हैं इन योर जनरल अवेयरनेस इन 1 मार्क, राइट? सो दीज़ आर गोइंग टू बी वेरी हेल्पफुल। गुड इवनिंग हर्ष, गुड इवनिंग। अभी तो कोई डाउट तो नहीं है क्योंकि अभी तक न्यूज़ेस बहुत ही सिंपल रही हैं। दिस इज़ नॉट दैट मच डिफिकल्ट आल्सो, राइट? Could you please confirm that everything is fine so far? Okay. So I think we can start with the third one also. So Ministry of Finance changes the norms for MPS. Okay. So MPS starts for minimum public shareholding. MPS. Now what this MPS rule says? MPS rule says that it is mandatory. It is mandatory for a company to issue 25% of its equity to say non-promoters or or public. In what case? In what case? In case of IPO. In case of IPO, that is initial public offering. Now listen to me carefully. Whenever a company is going for an initial public offering, that means they are offering their company stakes to the public, right? This is the first time that company is issuing its shares to the public. अब जब पब्लिक को आप इशू कर ही रहे हैं शेयर्स, तो आपको मिनिमम पब्लिक की होल्डिंग कितनी होनी चाहिए? 25% होनी ही चाहिए. दैट इज minimum public shareholding. That is 25% of the equity shares must be held by the public or the non promoters. That means आपके कोई promoters, आपका कोई owner या फिर management, इनमें से कोई भी ऐसा person नहीं होगा जो आपकी इक्विटी को होल्ड करेगा. 25% should be purely held by the public and purely held by the, we can say, the non promoters, right? Which is again a part of your public only, right? So this was the norm. And what was the problem with this and why the Ministry of Finance have changed some norms? So basically क्या हो रहा था कि from a past we have seen कि जो big companies हैं, यानी कि जो हमारी large companies हैं, they are not going for a, the large companies are not going for a IPO. Large companies are not going for IPOs. Why? लार्ज कंपनीज कह रही हैं, देखिए आपका क्या रूल कहता है, आपका कहता है कि आप अगर फर्स्ट टाइम आईपीओ करने जा रहे हैं, इफ यू आर फर्स्ट टाइम ऑफरिंग अ आईपीओ, राइट? सो इनिशियली यू कैन स्टार्ट विद दिस 5%. You can start with 5% and slowly you can increase this minimum public shareholding to 25%, to 25%. तो आप इनिशियली 5% कर सकते हैं. अब हो क्या रहा है, ये कह रही है लार्ज कंपनी कह रही है, देखिए आई एम 1,000 crore of company, have a market capitalization of, we can say, 1,000 crore. अगर मैं अपना 5% भी यहां पर निकालता हूं तो यानी कि 50 crore I have to provide it to the public. Now this is very huge. This is a very huge number for me to go for at the first instinct. ठीक है, मैं नहीं चाहता कि इतनी जल्दी मैं अपनी ओनरशिप डाइल्यूट कर दूं. मैं नहीं चाहता कि मैं इतनी जल्दी ओनरशिप डाइल्यूट कर दूं among the public. So this 5% is huge for me as compared to the size of my company, right? So अब मैं हमारी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस क्या कह रही है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस कह रही है कि आप इनिशियली 5% नहीं, छोड़ दीजिए, you can initially start with 2.5%. Now 2.5% is as less as 25 crore for a large company. For a large company 25 crore से वो अपना ownership dilute करना शुरू कर सकती है, which is not a big, we can say, hit on the large companies on their ownership, right? So उन्होंने कहा आप 25 crore से start कीजिए, which is very comparatively less, and you can start with 2.5, but initially आपको over the period of time you have to increase it to say 25%. You have to increase it to 25%. तो एक बार हम पढ़कर भी देखते हैं तो हमें और अच्छे से समझ में आएगा, right? So what they are saying is, recently the Department of Economic Affairs under the Ministry of Finance revise the rules related to minimum public shareholding. Large companies planning to list on the stock exchange. The large company which are planning to list on the stock exchange. To list, first they have to fill the criteria that is being required by the SEBI to be listed on the any stock exchange. Once they have listed, they can raise the money from public, right? They can issue the IPO, so on and so forth, right? So MPS rule says that listed companies must maintain at least 25% of their equity share held by the non-promoter and to ensure the liquidity and fair pricing of their company. ठीक है, तो क्योंकि आपने पब्लिक ऑफरिंग करी है तो पब्लिक को कम से कम 25% तो हाथ में आप अपने शेयर्स देंगे देंगे, राइट? तो ये था हमारा एमपीएस रूल. The amendment allows the companies to offer a small proportion shares to the public at the time of the IPO. ठीक है, तो कह रहे जब आप IPO करने जा रहे हैं, instead of offering 5% at the very beginning, you can start with 2.5%, which is not going to give you a big hit as a large company to dilute your ownership. आप आराम से अपनी ओनरशिप को डाइल्यूट करें इन द पब्लिक एंड आप तभी इशू करें इतने ज्यादा पैसे जब आपको रिक्वायरमेंट है. अगर मान लीजिए ये लार्ज कंपनी है, इसे अभी इतनी ज्यादा 50 करोड़ के पैसों की जरूरत नहीं है. इट कैन स्टार्ट विद से स्मॉल अमाउंट से 25 करोड़. ठीक है, तो इसे जबरदस्ती 50 करोड़ के लिए डाइल्यूट करना पड़ेगा ओनरशिप, इवन इफ इट डज नॉट रिक्वायर दिस मच मनी फ्रॉम द पब्लिक, राइट? सो दिस इज द एजेंडा दैट द लार्ज कंपनी कैन स्टार्ट विद द स्मॉल अमाउंट व्हाइल दे आर रेजिंग द मनी फ्रॉम द पब्लिक. ठीक है, तो ये इन्होंने कैसे किया? दे हैव अमेंडेड व्हाट रूल्स? दे हैव अमेंडेड सिक्योरिटी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स रेगुलेशन रूल्स 1957. अभी तक कोई डाउट तो नहीं है? वी आर गोइंग अहेड विद दिस न्यूज. कोई डाउट तो नहीं है? यहां तक सब क्लियर है? अभी और क्लैरिटी आएगी व्हेन वी विल अंडरस्टैंड दिस पर्टिकुलर टेबल. तो पहले क्या था? पहले 3 कैटेगरीज में कंपनीज को डिवाइड किया जाता था. इन दीज कैटेगरीज यू कैन सी द कैटेगरी दैट इज कंपनीज विच आर अप टू 1600 करोड़ मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन, राइट? देन 1600 टू 4000 एंड देन 4000 से डायरेक्टली कहां लेके जा रहे हैं? 1 लाख करोड़. ठीक है, 4000 करोड़ से कहां लेके जा रहे हैं? डायरेक्टली 1 लाख करोड़. सो दिस वाज द 3 कैटेगरीज ऑफ वी कैन से कंपनीज दैट वर अर्लियर रिकॉग्नाइज्ड बाय द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस और बाय द सेबी हेयर. अब उन्होंने 6 कैटेगरीज निकाल दी. इन दिस यू कैन सी देयर आर नाउ 6 कैटेगरीज अंडर द न्यू सिस्टम, जहां पर देयर इज अप टू 1600, 1600 से 4000, 4000 से 50,000 करोड़, 50,000 से 1 लाख करोड़, 1 लाख से 5 लाख करोड़ एंड देन मोर देन 5 लाख करोड़. ठीक है, अब देखिए यहां पर जो स्मॉलर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस है, दैट मींस दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इनके लिए क्या है? स्मॉलर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए स्ट्रिक्टर रूल्स हैं. स्ट्रिक्टर रूल्स हैं. और जितनी ज्यादा बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, जितनी भी ये वाली सारी किसमें आ जाती है? बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, लार्ज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से आ जाती हैं. तो ये इनको क्या है? रिलैक्स्ड रूल है. मैम ऐसा क्यों है? सो बेसिकली जो स्मॉल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं, दे कैन स्टार्ट रेजिंग देयर मनी फॉर से 10 लाख, 20 लाख, 1 करोड़, 5 करोड़, 10 करोड़, लाइक. तो यहां से वो शुरू हो जाती है. एंड दैट 10 करोड़ इज से 6% ऑफ देयर स्टेक और 7% ऑफ देयर स्टेक. ठीक है, तो उनके लिए इतने ज्यादा, उनके लिए क्या है? स्ट्रिक्टर रेगुलेशन है. क्या है कि आपको फ्रॉम द स्टार्टिंग ओनली यू हैव टू स्टार्ट विद 25% ऑफ द मिनिमम पब्लिक शेयर होल्डिंग. जहां पर आप क्या कर रहे हैं? स्टार्टिंग से ही इंटायर योर 25% यू आर ऑफरिंग टू द पब्लिक. ठीक है, तो उनके लिए क्या है? स्ट्रिक्टर रूल्स हैं. They will be not relaxed with any kind of regulations here. And for the smaller, we can say companies, उनके लिए क्या है? That you can start with or we can say begin with say 0.2.5%, right? And then you can initially increase this public shareholding say to 25%, right? So this is how they have divided and they have said, जैसे कि अब ये वाली थोड़ी मिडल में आ जाती है, मिड साइज में आ जाती है कंपनीज, तो इनका क्या है कि आप स्टार्ट कीजिए से 2% से या फिर 3% से स्टार्ट कीजिए. इन द नेक्स्ट 5 to 10 years you are going to increase it to say 10%. in next to 15 years you are going to increase it to 25%. तो स्लोली उनको भी एक रोड मैप दिया हुआ है दैट हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू इंक्रीज योर मिनिमम पब्लिक शेयर होल्डिंग, राइट? तो पहले 3 कैटेगरीज थी, अब 6 कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड कर दिया है, विच इज नाउ गोइंग टू बी सिंपल फॉर द कंपनीज टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हमें कब कब हमें अपनी मिनिमम पब्लिक शेयर होल्डिंग इंक्रीज करनी चाहिए. तो आपको क्या याद रखना है? यहाँ से आपको ये याद रखना है कि ऑन इनिशियल बेसिस, दैट इज जब वो आईपीओ पहली बार इशू कर रहे हैं, At that point of time, they can start with the large companies. Specifically, this is for the large companies. ठीक है, तो large companies जो है वो 2.5% से start कर सकती हैं for issuing for minimum public shareholding offer कर सकती हैं at the very beginning, right? And they can so and so forth start कर सकती हैं, increase कर सकती हैं to 25%. Okay, so this is again a summary for the news. You can read it from here. Okay, अब ये हमारे पास है last news of the day, which is Standing Committee on Finance. Standing Committee on Finance recommend ways to improve the RRBs. Now we all know the RRBs were, we can say, established by the Narisam Committee recommendation in 1975. ये सोचकर कि that we need to work for the agriculture and the rural sector, right? हमें इन दोनों चीजों को promote करना चाहिए. And then they enacted a act named as Regional Rural Act 1976. Now there is a law under the RRBs that RRBs need to invest say 75% of their loans. अभी मैं loans use कर रही हूँ यहाँ पर शब्द, ठीक है, for simplified understanding, ठीक है. तो 75% जितना भी वो लोन दे रहे हैं या फिर ऑफ बैलेंस शीट जितना भी इन्होंने गारंटी ले रखी है, दोनों से जो भी ज्यादा होगा, they are going to give 75% of their loan in the priority sector. प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर में क्या क्या आ जाता है? एग्रीकल्चर लोन्स आ जाते हैं, एजुकेशन लोन्स आ जाते हैं, एमएसएमई लोन्स आ जाते हैं, राइट. एंड रूरल हम कह सकते हैं सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप को लोन्स आ जाते हैं, जॉइंट लैंडिंग ग्रुप्स को लोन आ जाते हैं, राइट. अब प्रॉब्लम क्या आ रही थी? प्रॉब्लम यहाँ आ रही है कि जो आरआरबीज हैं और जब ये एजुकेशन लोन्स देते हैं, education loans have a lot of NPA. That means there are lots of bad loans which are coming up from the education loan only. तो यहाँ पर ये जो पर्टिकुलर कमेटी है, ये कमेटी कहती है that you need to work on these NPA, that is non performing जो आपके assets हैं, जो bad loans हैं, you need to revive them. That means you need to work on them so that we can reduce it over the period of time, because it is not healthy for the RRBs. After the amalgamation of the RRBs, जहाँ पर इन्हें कम कर दिया गया है, that is अब कितने हैं? 28 RRBs हैं from 43 RRBs, right? Which were following one state, one RRB as recommended by the Dr. Vyas committee. Right? They said that there should be one state and one RRB. That will increase the financial health of the RRB. At the same time, efficiency और effectiveness बढ़ेगी of the RRBs. तो उनकी basically financial health को better करने के लिए they have amalgamated all the RRBs and there are now 28 RRBs, right? Okay, ownership structure एक बारी देख लेते हैं. There is a 50% ownership on RRBs, right, of the government of India. Then 15% is of the state and sponsor की कितनी रहती है? 35%. ये बहुत ही basic सी information है, but still sometimes this can be asked in your objective also. So be aware of this particular ownership structure of the RRBs, right? Recommendations क्या है? Recommendations पे जाते हैं. So they are saying that education loans, there are 13.8% of the NNPA. So see, there is a huge NNPA that is there in the education loans. So they are saying that use what? The credit guarantee fund scheme for education loans. These are the, we can say, the scheme under which it gives guarantees against the education loans. What kind of guarantee? This gives a guarantee against the loan that is being taken by the student in this case. If the student is not able to repay the amount of education loan, the scheme is going to back the bank for the recovery. That means they are going to repay the entire amount for the student, so that the bank is also happy and the student is also happy and the government is also happy, because the NNPA are being reduced here for the RRBs. So they are saying that use this particular scheme in order to reduce your non-performing asset, gross non-performing assets. What are the features? There is no collateral required. There is no third-party guarantee that has been given. The loan limit should be 7.5 lakh and the government provides a guarantee. Through this scheme, the government of India provides the guarantee, which is good for the health of the banks as well and good for the public as well. Next recommendation थी to infuse artificial intelligence and use this particular artificial intelligence system in order to get early warning signals. That means you are going to detect the risk on an early basis. You are going to monitor the loans quality on a regular basis with the use of AI so that they can help you detect the loans which may get into or they may convert into NPA. Right? Before they turn into NPA, you are going to monitor them on an early basis and you are going to work on them. इसके साथ साथ you can use AIs in sending the EMI reminders as well that you need to pay the EMI and your EMI is going to be due on this particular date. तो अगर आप इस तरीके से अपने borrowers को क्या देंगे, reminders देंगे, that is going to be very helpful, right, for the RRBs to recover the money as well and to reduce the risk as well. Managing the bad loans, it will be very helpful to manage the bad loans. Now the banks are dealing with many customers, it is not dealing with one or two customers. तो जब bad loans भी आप revive करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, you are going to see how they are performing. So for monitoring their performance, you are again you are going to use the artificial intelligence. Then the recommendation is the RRBs which are profitable. RRBs तो profitable चल रही है यानी कि they are earning some kind of profit. Then they can go for the IPO to raise the money, and use that money for expansion purposes. Expansion कर सकते हैं, use that money in the technology and upgradation of the technology, right? So they are recommended that RRBs को अपना खुद का पैसा उठाना चाहिए from the public through IPOs. They must infuse artificial intelligence system for early warning signals. Apart from this, they use this particular scheme in order to reduce their GNPA. ठीक है? You can use this particular recommendations इन योर डिस्क्रिप्टिव आंसर्स. ठीक है, तो वहां पर आपको ये हेल्प करेंगे. व्हेन द पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन इज रिगार्डिंग योर आरआरबी ओनली, कि आप आरआरबी के पर्टिकुलर बैंकिंग सिस्टम को एनालाइज कीजिए एंड सी व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस एंड व्हाट इज द करंट पोजीशन ऑफ दिस आरआरबीज आफ्टर अमेलगमेशन. तो आपके पास कुछ डेटा होना चाहिए, जस्ट लाइक व्हाट इज द प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी, व्हाट इज देयर जीएनपीए इंटायरली ऑन एन एवरेज बेसिस, इंक्लूडिंग ऑल द टाइप ऑफ एसेट्स. इसमें हमने सिर्फ एजुकेशन लोन्स की बात करी है, पर हम उसमें सभी एसेट्स की बात करेंगे कि ओवरऑल जीएनपीए कितना है आरआरबीस का, एनएनपीए कितना है, एंड देन सीआरएआर कितना है, ऑल सच थिंग्स. Again, I have put this in a summarized form so that you can see this entire news in this one particular slide. Okay, now the question answer session. Let's see how many of you can answer the particular question. So question number 1 says, with reference to the recent recommendation of Standing Committee on Finance regarding the RRBs, consider the following statement. It says, committee recommended leveraging the credit guarantee fund scheme for education loans to address the high GNPA in the education loan. Second, it suggested deployment of AI-driven early warning signals for the monitoring of asset quality. It proposed mandatory merger of all RRBs into single national level RRBs. The committee recommended exploring IPO for the profitable RRBs. So what do you think? What is the right statements among these four? Right, Harshit, you are correct. B is the right answer. What is wrong with the third statement? Wrong is that they haven't recommended any such, we can say, recommendation where they are saying कि all RRBs को हमें merge करके एक national level RRB बनानी चाहिए. ऐसा कुछ नहीं बोला उन्होंने. It is just telling us the current status of, we can say, RRBs कि अभी कितनी है? 28 RRBs हैं हमारे पास. Reducing it from 43 RRBs. Let's just come to the second news. Good. Gaurav, why D is the right answer? No, D is not a right answer. The second statement is completely fine. We just read about it. Ki they are going to use the artificial intelligence in order to early warning signals लेने के लिए. Early warning signals AI इनको system देगा so that they can see that what exactly is happening in my each and every kind of asset quality or asset type. Question number 2. Consider the following statements regarding MPS, that is minimum public shareholding norms notified by the government. So the revised framework expands the categorization of companies based on the post-issue capital from 3 to 6 categories. Ultra large companies above 5 lakh crore valuation may initially comply with MPS as low as 1%. All companies are exempted from achieving 25% public shareholding under the revised framework. The framework introduces a phased timeline for achieving the 25% public shareholding for large companies. Good evening, Mohit. Yes, what is the right answer in this case? So B is the right answer. That is 1, 2, and 4. What is wrong with the third one? All the companies are exempted from achieving 25 public shareholding. This is wrong. All the companies eventually will going to achieve this 25 percentage of minimum public shareholding. But start वो थोड़े से कर सकती हैं. For the large companies, they can start for 2.5 percentage, and for other medium level companies, they can start with 1 percentage or 2 percentage on an initial level. And for the very small companies, they have to start with only 25 percentage only. ठीक है, तो ऐसे सबके लिए phased manner में they have given a timeline. So B is the right option. Okay, question number 3. Question number 3, with the reference of .bank in .bank in domain recently mandated in India. Consider the following statement. It is restricted domain exclusively available to the RBI regulated bank. It is managed by the IDRDBT. It operates independently without oversight from any government or internet governance body. It aims to enhance the cybersecurity and trust in the digital banking services. So, what do you think is the right answer? Yes, Gaurav, you are right. Harshit, you are also right for the previous question. What do you think about this question? Okay, no worries. So, for this question, first, second, and fourth is correct. What is wrong with the third one? It operates independently without oversight of government or internet governance body. This is not true regarding the .bank.in. Why? Because there is a particular government that is mighty, and the NIXI is looking over or governing over this particular domain, right? So they are held responsible for it. So we can't say that there is no oversight from the government or from the NIXI, right? So all other statements are correct. So B is the right answer in this case. Again, question number 4. This is the last question. Question number 4. With the reference of the expansion of UPI in Sri Lanka, consider the following statement. What are the 4 statements? It says the initiative is part of India's effort to internationalize its digital public infrastructure. It allows real-time cross-border digital payments using Indian bank account. It is implemented by the NPCI. It replaces Sri Lanka's domestic payment system entirely. Yes, again, B is the right answer in this case. B is the right answer. What is wrong with the fourth one? What is wrong with the fourth statement? It says that it is going to replace the Sri Lanka's domestic payment. हम श्रीलंका की डोमेस्टिक पेमेंट को पूरी तरह से रिप्लेस नहीं कर रहे हैं, बट वी आर एक्चुअली लिंकिंग आर डोमेस्टिक यूपीआई विद द श्रीलंका's यूपीआई, which is Lanka UPI, right? So we are connecting Lanka UPI with the, we can say, UPI, India UPI. That is going to be very helpful for both the, we can say, citizens of both the nations, right? So this is what we are offering right now, the RBI Grade B course for all of you at a discounted price of 8,499, right? You can use this exclusive offer right now. Along with this, if you are looking for a regulatory body examination super pack that is going to cater to different regulatory body examination, then you can access this particular course, wherein there is a course, we can say, amount for 10,919 rupees, right? So again, this is the discounted price as this at this particular, we can say, occasion of Jashne selection, right? You can use this particular offer to grab your course, right? So thank you for watching. Thank you. And in case you have any doubt, tell me in the comment section. The PDF of this particular PPT will be shared to you on the Telegram as well. Okay, so goodbye everyone. Thank you and best of luck.